Hey everybody, welcome on our channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto was the last Jedi Lords and got Harem? Part 2. If you are new on the channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel and like the video too. So without wasting any more time, let's start the story. After the destruction of the Malevolence warship, Naruto, Talon, Ula, and HK-47 returned to Titan to watch over their planet as per their duties. Ayla and her forces were currently still on the planet as Naruto's clone forces assigned for planetary defense were still being finalized. Which is why the young Lord of Titan and Ayla were currently in a meeting via hologram with the Jedi Council. Lord Uzumaki, I sincerely apologize for this delay. The clones selected for the 567th Titan Defense Force have finally been selected. They shall arrive by day's end. Shakti informed him via hologram. Meaning Knight Sakura and her forces can return to her important duties, Luminara stated blankly. It's fine, these things take time. Besides, aren't you on the council used to doing nothing? Naruto asked with a pointed look at Luminara, while Talon and Ula smiled but tried not to laugh at this dig. Impudent little brat. I would breath, there is no emotion, there is peace. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the force. Luminara took a breath and recited the GD code to quell her irritation at the young lord. There is no problem, just the 4zzzzzzzzzzz, Naruto was saying before he tilted his head back and pretended to snore. I believe you have tested Master Luminara's patience enough, Lord Uzumaki, Obi-Wan said, stifling his amusement as said master's eyebrow was twitching in irritation. Okay, you're right, and don't judge me, I saw Master Yoda shaking, trying not to laugh, Naruto said with a smile as he looked at them. Playing tricks on you, your eyes are, Yoda said quickly. Definitely without shifty eyes. Why would you assume such a thing? Regardless, I shall arrive at Titan with your new planetary defense forces later today. Knight Sakura, I shall also have your assignment when I arrive, Shakti said simply. I await your arrival with anticipation, Naruto said with a smile at Shakti. Shakti said nothing as she quickly ended the call, her holographic image disappearing. Disgusting, Luminara muttered with a head shake at the sight of the flirty banter. You should be more open-minded, master. Might I suggest finding a man willing to pull the stick out your ass, Naruto was saying before Luminara cut him off. How dare you miserable, Luminara glared at him, but Naruto cut him off. I'm not miserable. I'm happy, unlike you over the hill bit, Naruto was saying, but was again cut off. And we're done, keep us posted, Ula said with a chuckle as she turned off communications. Master, do you plan to mate with that council meatbag, or may I kill her? HK asked curiously. An order, Funk. No, I just like talking trash and making her mad, and no, you can't kill her. She's an ally, so as fun as it sounds to have you kill her and mount her over the fireplace, I would get in trouble, Naruto said, while everyone there looked at him quite stunned. That wasn't very Jedi-like, Talon admitted, impressed. Maybe she had rubbed off on him in more ways than one. Just because I follow the teachings of the Jedi doesn't mean I follow every facet. Both sides of the force have their flaws. Even the grey Jedi like yourself have some flaws. I embrace the best of all while leaving out the worst. Naruto told them. And the fact that you can procreate like an animal has nothing to do with it, Talon said with a knowing look. Hey, you and Ula don't complain, Naruto said with a grin. And we never will, Ula said with a smile. Yup. Naruto smirked as he pulled Talon into a hug and leaned in to kiss her. Hello? Ayla asked, confused as she was in the room and wanted to make sure they remembered. This made Naruto pull back before their lips connected. Alright, sorry Ayla, Naruto said sheepishly in apology. Oh, I wanted her to watch us go at it, Talon pouted. If you two are gonna procreate, then I shall go set up the droid army in the factories for their duties of taking over protecting the planet once the clone meatbags fail in their duties, HK said simply as he walked out. Droid army? Ayla asked, not knowing of this. Long story. I'll explain it later, Ula told her. Should we have some fun then, my lord? Talon purred out until Ula grabbed her by her arm. You're helping us patrol, Ula told the red-skinned Twi'lek, pulling her away from Naruto. Naruto chuckled sheepishly at this as he looked at Ayla. I apologize. Talon can be a bit forward, he told her. It's fine. If I'm honest, I'm almost jealous of how free she is with herself. Ayla admitted. Oh really? Naruto asked curiously. Yes. She seems so at ease mentally. I've learned under the Jedi for a long time, and yet I find myself struggling to find my inner peace at times, Ayla admitted. Well, like I said, Ayla. Both the Jedi and the Sith have good and bad points. It's just that both of them have extremists that make them all look bad, Naruto told her. Really? Ayla asked as she wasn't super familiar with Sith history. Allow me to explain. In the old days there was a Sith Lord. A powerful one by the name of Darth Malgus. He was one of the most powerful in the Sith Empire of the time. Even slaying the Grand Master and taking the Jedi Temple on Coruscant under Sith control. However, he grew tired of the idea that the Sith Empire was constantly infighting over who would gain power, as well as at the time the Sith Empire's intolerances towards aliens. So he created his own empire to combat both the Republic and Sith Empire. Even helping the Republic in a few cases against the Sith Empire. Were his methods perfect? No, absolutely not, as he believed in purifying the galaxy through endless warfare. But his vision had some merit despite being a dark side user and a battle-hungry tyrant in some ways. Naruto explained. But he was an extremist, Ayla pointed out. True, he was. But it does show that not every Sith was a heartless monster bent on pure cruelty. Some were capable of good. Just as even great Jedi were capable of evil. It's all about balance, be it through the sides of the Force or one's own mind and body, Naruto explained. Ayla thought about this and what she had seen from both Naruto and Talon. She knew he was right deep down. Good speech. Maybe next time don't use a Sith that went on to become a mass murderer as an example, though, Ayla told him. Hey, I made my point to you from what I feel, so I feel good, Naruto said with a triumphant smile. Ayla chuckled at this. How do you know so much about the Sith anyway? She asked curiously, as they never really learned much of the Sith once they were thought to have died off a long time ago. Hythan houses many artifacts. Not all of them are Jedi in origin. It's why this planet needs to be protected, not only that an ancestor of mine had a, let's say, complicated past, with a light and dark side, both, Naruto explained to the blue-skinned Twi'lek. Ayla looked at Naruto and felt the urge to ask who his ancestor was, but before she could urge herself to ask. Hey, you meatbags, done going at it? I forgot my knife and don't want to see anything again. HK yelled from the other side of the door. HK, you have 30 knives built into you, Naruto deadpanned. This one's for practicing my stabbing now, step away from your new conquest and gimme. HK yelled as he banged on the door. Naruto sighed before opening the door and letting HK inside. Just grab it and go, buddy, Naruto sighed out. Thank you, master. Now where is Aha? HK said as he walked over to a computer and saw a knife on the ground and picked it up. Come to Papa, haha. The droid yelled as he practiced his stabbing while yelling in a high-pitched way as he walked out the door. Should we be concerned? Ayla asked with a raised eyebrow. Not unless any clones cross his path, Naruto said with a chuckle. Hey, cloned meatbag. Are you looking at me? HK was heard yelling. Not again, Naruto sighed as he and Ayla left the room to stop the homicidal droid from stabbing clones randomly. Hythan. Miles away from the palace. A small cloaked ship suddenly appeared in a grassy clearing as Asajj Ventress leapt out of the cockpit and started making her way towards the palace on foot. Master has tasked me with ending the so-called Jedi Lord. I shall not fail him, she muttered as she walked through the clearing and came upon a mountainous ridge which she slid down the side of to get down it. Walking forward from her traversal method, Asajj Ventress came upon what looked like a large mechanized factory. With silver-colored HK units patrolling in a military formation. He has an army of assassin droids. Ventress questioned, hiding behind a nearby tree watching them. Before seeing a golden HK unit come from the forests towards them. I see the programming is working quite well. Soon Key shall replace those incompetent Klein meatbags as Master's only protection, HK-57 stated, kind by 2 silver HK units. I still say we should vaporize them all, one of the HK units stated. I know, but the Master made the order that they are allies, HK-57 stated. This sucks. First we are set to stun only unless we get the clearance, and now this, one of the silver HK units exclaimed. Calm yourself, HK-57 warned as his eyes glowed red. I apologize for my outburst, oh great meatbag murderer, HK-50 stated. It's fine. The Master said it adds to our charm, as long as we still obey his and his harem's orders. HK-57 stated. Oh, how he wished they didn't reprogram the HK-50 army he had created. Harem? Ventress thought in bewilderment. He was a Jedi, right? They expressly forbid attachments. So why would one have a harem? She shook her head at this. She would question it after he was dead. Ventress waited until the HK units all had their backs turned before walking along through the forest towards the palace. Not too much later she finally made it to the large palace gates. All too easy, she smirked as she leapt up with the force and scaled the gates. Child's play for one with the power of the force. Especially one of her caliber. She saw below in the palace courtyard several clones patrolling. Clones and assassin droids. Why the protection? What is hidden here? She thought, growing even more curious. What was so important here for her master to learn from? She soon made her way through a window thanks to her force-powered jump. As she made her way down the hallway she spotted some paintings and stopped to look at them. Grandmaster of the Jedi Order Satel Shan. Pathetic. The Sith conquered many in those days. She was just too brainwashed into those Jedi beliefs to give up when the Sith were right, Ventress scoffed before walking away and passing by several other paintings and statues. All Jedi from the olden days. Oh, how she wished she was allowed to cause a ruckus and slice them to pieces. But alas, she was here to assassinate someone, not cause a full-on assault. That was next week for her after all. Soon Ventress came upon a large painting of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. Larger than all the other paintings she had seen. I'd say these two have quite the ego to make a painting this large, or perhaps, Ventress muttered as she waved her hand and slid the painting to the side of the wall with the force. Revealing a hidden safe. Quite an obvious hiding location when you're actually in the palace, she said as she opened the safe, her curiosity getting the better of her. She soon opened it and revealed two ancient lightsaber hilts. One a sleek and smooth silver hilt with almost no real extravagance other than a bit of bronze at the head of the hilt and a small ball at the base with several square bolts. From this hilt she felt a storm-like rage come from it. As if the blade embodied anger itself. The other a silver and black hilt with spikes protruding upwards from the hole where the blade erupts. Giving the hilt a very large and thick look. From this hilt she felt a calm emotion. Like a cold breeze on a beach on a hot day. Both lightsaber hilts sat before a black and red ancient Mandalorian-styled mask. One many Jedi and Sith from ancient to present-day new. Ventress's eyes widened in surprise as she looked at the mask, so surprised that she didn't notice a light beeping on the safe door, which was a silent alarm. With Talon and Ula. "Oh god, this is so incredibly dull," Talon groaned while patrolling with Ula. She was tired of walking the palace grounds in circles. Waiting for something to happen. "Will you relax? It's for the best that we don't have any trouble, remember?" Ula reminded as she recalibrated her pistol and reholstered it. Yeah. Master better reward me hard later tonight," Talon said with a smirk. "So like normal?" Ula asked with a flat tone. "Oh hell no, I mean even harder." "Don't make me call an adult," Ula said simply before she heard some beeping on her wrist device. "An intruder?" she asked as she looked at her wrist computer. "Who dares?" Talon exclaimed as she reached out with the force to track down where the intruder was. "Oh no," she paled. "Who is it?" Ula asked as she unholstered her pistols. "Some bald Dathomirian chick. That's not the problem." She opened the safe, Talon informed. "Crap," Ula said as she and Talon moved to go intercept the intruder. "Looks like the master will beat us there, so move," Talon said as she felt Naruto was also on the move. "But Ventress? That's impossible. That mask was lost to time. It was even said to have been destroyed," Ventress said wide-eyed. Throughout her training as both Jedi and Sith, she studied events of the ancient Jedi Order against the Sith Empire. And this mask was a key factor in that time period. All knew it. And all feared and respected it. Even to this day. Sensing the light and dark side both swirling from the mask intrigued her. Kyber crystals make sense to have a lingering force presence as they were alive with the force. But a mask was different. She had never encountered or heard of such a thing. Almost bidden to grab it, she reached out to grab it as if something was calling for her to take it. Only for an orange lightsaber blade to ignite under her chin. "Step away from that. It's a family heirloom," Naruto said with a firm tone. "Family heirloom?" she asked in surprise before she laughed. "Oh, how intriguing, a Jedi Lord descended from a Sith Lord." Ventress laughed. His sins were his own, plus he had his good points too. Even so, it was because of vitiate he even fell and went mad. Naruto defended his ancestor as best he could. And what about the Mandalorians he slaughtered when he was a Jedi? Was that also a good point? Asajj mocked him. Naruto scowled as he raised his blade a little more under her neck. "Sorry, did that touch a nerve?" Ventress mocked with a smirk. "You have a mouth on you. It's too bad you're insecure. You might even become a strong fighter if you had a real path to follow," Naruto told her. "I have a master. I have a path. I am Sith," Ventress scowled. "Here's the thing about Sith blue eyes. There's only ever two. A master to impart wisdom and a student to learn from it. Are you sure you're actually the apprentice to a Sith, or are you just a hired gun for one?" Naruto questioned. Ventress scowled at this as she clenched her hands and caused some of the paintings and statues nearby to shake slightly. Naruto pulled his blade away from her and sliced through a statue sent flying at him in her rage. This gave Ventress the moment to draw her twin curved hilt red lightsabers and send a slash at Naruto, who blocked the slash with his orange blade. "Might want to consider calling it quits. You're on a Republic-controlled planet fighting a lord, and my backup that'll be here soon. Unless you have an army with you, this isn't a fight you'll win," he told her. Ventress glared at Naruto as he looked back at her and growled at what she saw in his eyes. "You dare pity me?" Ventress roared as she sent a flurry of slashes at Naruto. Her rage blinding her as he blocked and deflected each strike she sent effortlessly. "Can't help it. I like to help those that seem lost. Just ask her," Naruto said as he looked behind Ventress. Ventress instantly turned and blocked a strike from Talon and her crimson red blade. "A lot of red in this battle, huh?" Talon grinned at Ventress as she sent two strikes which Ventress blocked before Talon kicked her in the stomach, sending her skidding back. "Too bad for you, I make red look way hotter," she smirked. Insolent, Ventress muttered, her fury growing. You're the insolent one. Sneaking in here and getting distracted by my master's safe. That's not even the greatest treasure here. You should see what's in his pants. Talon smirked. Down woman, we're on the clock, Ula said as she approached her blasters aimed at Ventress and ready to unleash laser hell on her. 3 against 1. Not really fair, Ventress said with a glare at each of them. A modern Sith is saying this. Naruto said with a chuckle. Now I know you're not a real Sith. Enough. Ventress yelled as she made the painting shake more and her hand sparked slightly. Oh, that's adorable. The fake Sith has some lightning. Go on, hit me with your best shot. Talon grinned. Talon, I wouldn't, Naruto was saying. Ah. Ventress yelled, her rage fueling it as she fired some lightning at Talon. Talon blocked with her blade but was sent back by the force from the lightning blast, skidding across the hall until she hit a wall. Before Naruto and Ula could react, Ventress wiped her hands and shot lightning at them before she jumped high into the air and landed on an open windowsill before she took off out of it. Oh no, you don't. Naruto yelled, jumping out and rushing after her. Ula approached Talon, who was groaning from her being slammed into a wall. You okay? She asked. Not how I wanted to be slammed against a wall today, Talon said as she stood up. Ula rolled her eyes as she holstered her blasters. Though I will say that one has some talent. If she weren't trying to kill Naruto, I'd totally bring her in for a threesome, Talon said. Ah, I may do that anyway, she snickered. What is the matter with you? She kicks your ass and you want to make a pass at her, Ula asked, bewildered. What? She may have a bad attitude, but she's hot. You notice how Naruto was trying to talk to her? I bet he's trying to do what he did with me. Only without the slave bikini and more leather, Talon said with a grin. Let's go after the before I have HK's units hose you down, Ula said with a sigh as she leapt out the window and fired a grappling hook to rappel down. Talon grinned before jumping out following her. But Naruto. Naruto was running after Ventress, who was still ahead of him by a good margin. Seeing her enter a forest, he saw her run past the HK droid factory. Hello, random bald meatbag. One HK unit said nonchalantly as Ventress ran past him. Hello, master. The HK unit greeted as Naruto also ran past him. Anything to report? Another HK-50 asked over comms. No, just the master chazzing a bald meatbag woman, the HK unit said. Ah, must be a new conquest playing what the red meatbag calls hard to get, the other said nonchalantly, as they never got orders in regards to Ventress. Soon Ventress came to the mountain ridge that she had slid down before and prepared to jump up it and escape the planet, but a thrown and spinning orange lightsaber boomeranging in front of her cut her off as it flew back to Naruto's hand. Stop. You don't have to go this route, Naruto told her. You don't know anything about me. Ventress growled as her blades reignited. I know that when you return to your so-called master and report your failure, he will most likely just abandon you like a broken tool, Naruto said with a firm tone, as that was a method most Siths employed. Then I'll make sure I bring your head with me. Ventress yelled as she leapt and spun at him, hoping to impale him with her blades. Naruto, however, blocked her blades with his before the two clashed once again. Orange and red lights clashing against each other in a dance of death. After a few more exchanges of blades, Ventress noticed Talon and Ula approaching and jumped back and sent a force push at Naruto before she leapt up to her ship. Stop right there. Ula yelled as she started firing shots with her pistols at the fleeing Ventress. Yeah, come quietly. You can fum louder in a three-way later. Talon cackled as Ventress leapt inside the ship. Say what? Naruto asked Talon as he looked away from the escaping ship and at his Twi'lek lover. Oh come on, you were checking her out. Talon yelled as she smirked at Naruto. I don't blame you though, I mean that outfit. Ooh, I'm kind of wanting my own version. Talon grinned. Okay, 2 things: 1, she's an enemy, and 2, don't you dare, you look great in what you always wear, Naruto said firmly. Oh, I was gonna modify it though. Make it black and skimpier. Talon pouted. Soon Isla and several clone rushed over as they were still patrolling when a clone saw Naruto chazzing Ventress. Only now just arriving after all was said and done. Later with Ventress. Ventress was kneeling before Count Dooku as she reported what had happened. I see this is most disappointing, Ventress, Dooku told her firmly. I'm sorry, master, I was distracted by an artifact I found that surprised me, Ventress informed him as she kept her head bowed. There is no excuse for your failure, Ventress. Dooku said firmly before he held his hand out and shot force lightning at her, making her scream in pain from the torrent of electricity hitting her. After a bit of this, Dooku stopped and turned away from her smoking but still living body. Leave me, I'm disgusted with your failure, Dooku ordered as he walked out some doors into a hallway. Ventress groaned as she got up but hesitated as she knew what she found out about Naruto could be useful to her master. But she said nothing as she stumbled out of the room, deciding to keep this to herself. All while still denying the seeds of doubt growing in her that Dooku saw her as an apprentice. Her growing doubt making her think that Naruto may have been right. About an hour after a Sag Ventress escaped from Titan, a Republic Acclamator-class assault cruiser came out of hyperspace and touched down onto the planet's surface. Landing before Naruto, Talon, Ula, and Ayla. As soon as the cruiser touched down, off stepped GD Master and Counselor Shakti, who walked forward towards the gathered group. "Welcome to Titan, Master Shakti," Naruto said, greeting the GD Counselor. "Thank you, Lord Naruto. It has been quite some time since I've been to Titan," the counselor greeted with a smile and a bow. "Ah yes, my mother did say you used to visit from time to time," Naruto said in remembrance. He must have been away at those times. "Have you heard from her at all?" Shakti asked in regards to her old friend. "Unfortunately no, but I'm sure she will contact us when it's important. I trust her," Naruto said. "I see, regardless I have with me your new 567th Titan Defense Force," Shakti said, gesturing to the clones coming off the cruiser ship and lining up. "Wonderful. Shall we inspect the troops?" Naruto asked Ula and Talon. "Leave that to us, Master. Why don't you spend some time with your fiancé while we introduce them to the pecking order?" Talon smirked. Naruto sighed at this while Shakti didn't react, thanks to her years of training to control her emotions. "Very well, make sure HK doesn't scare them," he ordered. "Hey meatbags, want to see a dead body?" HK-57 yelled, suddenly coming into view with 6 more HK units behind him, guns drawn. "I fucking hate that droid so much," Ula sighed in irritation. "Okay troops, rule 1. Ignore the HK units, they are strong fighters, but they have several wires crossed," Talon said to the new troops as she put a finger to the side of her head and made a crazy motion. "Thunk you slut." HK yelled as he waved his blaster before a boulder nailed him in the head, thrown by Talon via force push, sending him to the ground. "Rule number 2, don't get in between myself, Ula, or any of the Master's women when we want to get a good, long, rough, hard, pounding," Talon said, getting a blush from Ayla, who was waiting for the new forces to be fully ready before she and her Star Corps could leave the planet for their next assignment. "Anyway, would you like a tour?" Naruto asked Shakti. Mostly so they didn't have to hear Talon's rules. "Does this mean you dumped the other to greet a meatbag?" HK asked after getting up from the boulder head earlier. Only to be hit with another one suddenly. A simple no would have sufficed, HK said from the ground. "Talon, can you please stop throwing boulders at my droid?" Naruto sighed out. "Let me think about that." "No," Talon responded, throwing another boulder at HK as Naruto and Shakti left the area. Later with Naruto. "I apologize for that, Master," Naruto said as he was far too used to HK and Talon's antics that he really didn't reprimand them enough when around others out of habit. "It's quite alright. I was briefed about them by Master Kenobi and Knight Skywalker before I left Kamino," Shakti answered with a small smile. Showing there was no harm. "Oh good." Naruto responded, relieved to hear this. "Regardless, I actually have a bit of an ulterior motive for agreeing to the tour. I wish to take a look at several of the artifacts and make sure they are secured well enough, or if I can offer any improvements. Especially after Ventress's attempt of infiltration and robbery," Shakti explained. "Of course. Are there any particular artifacts you wish to see?" Naruto asked curiously. "Revan's mask," Shakti said seriously. Naruto paused at this and looked at Shakti. "With a firm look, may I ask why?" he asked with an even tone. "If you're worried about other GD knowing you hold it, only myself, Yoda, and Master Windu are aware of its existence on this planet. I helped Kushina with its original hiding location here. I only wish to help you with its security given the recent attempt," Shakti explained. Naruto was silent at this for a few moments. He nodded as he felt no deceit in her words. "Follow me," he said before he took her to the large painting of his mother and father, before removing said painting and opening the safe to display Revan's mask and lightsabers. "I can feel the force flowing from the mask and kyber crystals in his lightsabers. Like vortexes of the light and dark. Have you felt anything strange when you are near these items?" Shakti asked, observing the mask of the GD turned Sith Lord of old. "Not since I was a child and found my lightsaber crystal among his items," Naruto said, holding up his lightsaber hilt. Naruto said with a fond smile as he reminisced a bit. "I must admit it still amazes me that Revan found such a powerful crystal after his redemption, yet never used it," Shakti said, looking away from the mask to look at the young lord before her. "He had a few datapads he left behind. One said that he felt like the crystal bonded to him, not to be used by him, but to eventually find its true wielder," Naruto said before placing his hilt back on his belt. "It called to me, but I have no idea if I am its true and rightful wielder. Regardless though, I will do my best to prove myself truly worthy of this honor," Naruto said seriously. Shakti nodded at this before she looked at the safe again and started making mental notes on how to improve its security. "I have a question for you now, Master, if you don't mind. Why did you agree to the marriage contract set up by my mother?" Naruto asked curiously. She was a GD counselor, meaning she was expected to hold the GD code to the highest of standards. And considering the whole no attachment rule, it just seemed odd for a counselor of all people to agree to it. Even considering her friendship with his mother, it still raised many questions. I have been a part of the order for quite a long time. I have always been a firm believer in following the code to the letter. However, your mother opened my eyes with her relationship with your father and the teachings of the Jedi of old. They used to teach how to control emotions but still feel them, allowing for attachments. Over time the order however grew concerned of this and cut off forming any attachments. And they did this for a long time until Revan, your ancestor, spoke out against this after his love for her saved Bastilla Shan from the pull of the dark side. However, he agreed to not question the code in exchange for keeping his relationship with Bastilla, and eventually they had a child and later on a family line going down to you currently. While I cannot be sure if this will work, I wish to see if this way of thinking has merit in today's order. After all, we speak of loving all beings yet concern attachment. It is only right to see if this is something truly worth the concern. Some in the order may not like it, but if we grow to fear such things, then we will only cause our own suffering in the end, Shakti explained resolutely. Naruto stared wide-eyed at the Jedi Council Master. Actually impressed by the logic and forethought she put into her answer. I was not expecting that answer, I'll admit. But there's one other question. What about the fact I have to be with multiple women? Surely that wasn't planned, Naruto asked. Who do you think suggested the idea to your mother? Shakti said, simply hiding a smirk before walking away. Naruto blinked in surprise at this before he watched her walk away. I like that one, she has a mischievous-eyed Talon said, announcing her presence behind Naruto, making him jump in surprise. Damn it, Talon. I really need to get you a bell, Naruto grumbled after calming his heartbeat. Ooh, kinky. Can it be attached to a collar and leash? Talon asked, smirking. Shouldn't you be training the clones? Naruto asked with a flat tone. Oh, I was and will be going back to train them up to snuff with Ula. However, you have an urgent message from Kenobi in the throne room, Talon said simply. That cannot be good. Alright, in that case, can you take over the tour for Shakti while I go answer this? Naruto asked. Do you want me to prime her up for you? Talon asked, smirking. Never mind, I'm asking Ula, Naruto deadpanned. Oh, come on. She'll never help you funk that Jedi's brains out. Talon groaned. You two do realize I'm literally around the corner, correct? Shakti's voice asked flatly, having heard the whole thing. Sorry about her, I'm thinking of having her fixed, Naruto said with a sheepish chuckle. And I'm sorry he doesn't want to immediately plow your mind to mush, Talon said unashamedly. I do not know how to respond to that, Shakti admitted. None of us do. Talon, please send Ula to finish the tour for Master Shakti, Naruto ordered before walking off to avoid any more of this conversation. Fine. Ruin all my fun, why don't you? Talon grumbled as she walked towards the door. For the record, Miss Talon, I have very high stamina and could probably outlast you all, Shakti said with a monotone voice. Talon paused at this and considered a response to this, but said nothing as she went to go get Ula, but she made a mental note to get even with the Togruta woman later. Lord's throne room. Naruto sat down on the throne and turned on the hologram communication system, showing a blue image of Obi-Wan. Lord Uzumaki. Sure took your time to answer, I see, Obi-Wan said with a smile. Sorry, I was giving a tour to Master Shakti of the artifacts when you called. What's the situation? Naruto asked, knowing this had to be serious. General Skywalker needs your assistance. He has a plan to defeat General Grievous in the Bathoe system, and I have reservations. We'll brief you on the plan when you arrive, Obi-Wan informed. I'll head over right away, Naruto said as he nodded in agreement, ready to help. I shall await your arrival on Anakin's flagship via hologram, Obi-Wan said before signing off. Naruto quickly left the throne room and walked past the safe containing Revan's mask and lightsabers before he felt a voice in his mind. Wear it. The galaxy needs a symbol of true justice again. What the? Naruto asked, turning quickly around to figure out what that was, only to see nothing behind him. After a few moments of looking for the source of the voice and seeing nothing, Naruto turned and left the hallway towards his hangar, where HK was working on the Golden Eagle. Are you alright, Master? You look paler than usual. Has the red meat bag dried you out? HK-57 asked. I'm fine, HK. Is the ship prepared? Naruto asked. Yes, it is, Master. Do we have a mission? Are we finally killing meatbags this time? HK asked as if hopeful. I don't know, but we may be helping with a chance at taking down Grievous, Naruto told his droid companion. Finally. I'm gonna make that cyborg sack of flesh beg before I rip out his heart and stomp it into hamburger. HK declared as he led the way onto the ship. I really have to figure out what mom programmed you with, Naruto deadpanned. But Ahsoka not too long after. As Anakin was getting ready to present his plan to Obi-Wan, who was currently in hologram form, a familiar golden ship came out of hyperspace to request docking. Looks like our guest has arrived, Obi-Wan said with a smile as Naruto's ship docked inside the Venator-class ship. Soon the ramp lowered as Naruto and HK-57 descended. HK, can you please be calm this time? Naruto asked. I'm perfectly calm, master. Hey meatbag, you looking at me? HK asked to a clone that was looking at them. Before HK could continue to make a spectacle of himself, Ahsoka walked past him and bonked him on the head with the hilt of her lightsaber. Damn you, tangerine meatbag. You're lucky the programming used by the master's mother means I cannot harm you, HK said, as if irritated at Ahsoka's actions. Remind me to thank her then if I ever meet her, Ahsoka said blandly at the killer droid. I think she would like you, Naruto said with a chuckle at Ahsoka. Really? Ahsoka asked curiously as she had heard about Naruto's mom and how powerful she was. Oh indeed. I've had the pleasure of meeting her once myself back when I was still a Padawan, Obi-Wan via hologram chimed in. What was she like back then? Naruto asked curiously. Loud. I recall her yelling at some slavers she wanted to show them something. The screams still haunt me to this day, Obi-Wan said almost harrowed. And here I thought my plans caused you the most pains, Anakin said smirking. Ahsoka slightly paled at this as she wasn't sure she wanted to meet Kushina now. Relax, like I said she would like you. You have spirit like she likes. And don't take lip from HK, Naruto said as he grabbed her hand and squeezed it. Ahsoka smiled at this and squeezed Naruto's hand back. Now what is this plan, General Skywalker? Naruto asked the tactician and combat strategist for this plan. Yes. General Grievous has been attacking and decimating our forces in the Outer Rim such as this planet. He'll most likely be here in moments. As he attempts his advance, I will lead Gold Squadron into a frontal assault on his flagship to take him out, Anakin explained. That's it. That's what we were called for. A suicide mission out in an asteroid field. HK asked as if he was exasperated. Now hang on a moment. I have a plan to take down Grievous at his own game, Anakin said before pulling up a holographic display of an 8-walker smirking. Later on. Anakin's 3 Republic cruisers sat in between the planetary rings. Oz Grievous, separatist cruisers came out of hyperspace before they started to advance through the asteroid field. Moving forward as they put all power to the forward shields. Ahsoka waited aboard Anakin's flagship while Naruto and HK were in the Golden Eagle to fly alongside Anakin's fighter and Gold Squadron. Titan formation, Gold Squadron, Anakin ordered as him and his fighters followed behind with Naruto and HK taking up the rear guard due to their ship's size. As Grievous cruisers started to rain fire on Anakin's, Ahsoka spoke on the comm. Master, this is way too much heavy firepower. We should retreat, Ahsoka spoke up. Patience, Nips. He'll be in position soon. We have him right where we want him, Anakin said. Meatbag, if your plan works I will owe you a drink, HK spoke up via comm to Anakin before Grievous heavy fire started to come towards the fighters. Gold Squadron, take evasive action. Anakin ordered as he started to pilot his fighter and dodge heavy blasts from the cruisers as he approached them on his own. That is one crazy meatbag, HK said. You're the authority on sane now? Naruto asked from the co-pilot seat to his droid. Oh, you wound me, Master, HK said dramatically as they dodged the blasts as one of Anakin's cruisers went down. Errant position. Ahsoka, unveil our surprise, Anakin ordered. Right away, Master. Rex, old boy, time to join the party, Ahsoka said with a smirk. With pleasure, sir. Rex said as he was piloting an 8-walker alongside 12 other walkers that were on an asteroid behind the separatist cruisers. All units fire at will. Rex ordered as the walkers unleashed their heavy fire on the separatist cruisers, taking out 2 of them. Forward cannon, let him have it, Ahsoka ordered as Anakin's flagship fired on another cruiser, taking it out. This is too easy, Anakin said before flying his fighter and firing at one of the separatist ship's bridges. Taking it out in an explosion. Which one is the cyborg on? I want to kill him, Master, HK said, eyes glowing red. Calm down, HK, I doubt he'll let himself go down with his ship, Naruto said before grabbing his co-pilot console and sending a blast at the bridge of another cruiser, taking it out until there was only one left. Grievous. Anakin exclaimed, seeing a familiar silver bomber fleeing a separatist cruiser and giving chase. Hey, that cyborg is mine, meatbag. HK yelled following after the 2 ships. Ahsoka, you got this? Naruto asked. Absolutely. Send all firepower at that bucket command ship, Ahsoka ordered the fleet as they sent heavy fire down at the last separatist cruiser. As Anakin gave chase through the exploding battlefield, a piece of metal lodged itself into the wing of his fighter next to R2. See what you can do about that, buddy, Anakin said as he aimed at Grievous so he could take a shot before he could enter hyperspace. Meatbag, if you take that shot I will kill you. HK growled as he locked onto Grievous' ship as well. Before either could take a shot, however, Anakin's wing exploded and he started drifting into the asteroid field. Guess it's my shot now. HK yelled ecstatically, locking onto Grievous and about to fire. HK, Naruto said with a firm tone. Oh come on master, I'm sure the meatbag will be fine. HK whined only to get a glare. Fine. We're coming you worthless meatbag. HK sighed as he steered the ship towards Anakin's fighter. Medbay later on. Anakin woke up with Ahsoka, Rex, HK, and Naruto, along with a medical droid standing by his bed. Ugh. What happened? Anakin asked groggily. Naruto, HK, and Rex saved you and brought you back aboard after your fighter got damaged. That's doing my job, sir. Your plan brought us the victory after all, Rex told his general. And I don't like leaving friends to die, Naruto said simply. You owe me now, meatbag. I had that cyborg in my sight. HK yelled angrily. Thanks everyone. Where's R2? Anakin asked, not seeing his droid. The wing of your ship careened off elsewhere in that steroid field. By the time we got you it was nowhere in sight, meatbag. Your droid is gone. HK said. Anakin just looked crestfallen at that. Wait, you actually cared for that astromech droid? I'd laugh if that wasn't so pathetic. Ah, what the hell, I'll laugh anyways. Ha 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 ha. HK laughed out loud before Ahsoka smacked her lightsaber hilt into the crazed droid's head. Later bridge. Obi-Wan appeared in hologram form again before Anakin, Ahsoka, Naruto, and HK. Good job, Anakin. Your resourcefulness never ceases to amaze me, Obi-Wan said to his old apprentice. Thank you, Master, Anakin responded, slightly despondent. You look troubled, Obi-Wan said, concerned. I lost R2 in the field, Anakin said, looking down. Well, R2 units are a dime a dozen. I'm sure you'll find a suitable replacement, Obi-Wan said, not noticing Anakin's fist clench at that. Naruto and Ahsoka did notice it, however. I could take a squad out there, track him down, Anakin said hopefully. I'm game to do that, Naruto said, nodding in agreement. Funk that. It's one astromech droid. HK yelled. It's a fellow droid. You're not a hypocrite, are you? Ahsoka asked with a raised eyebrow. HK said nothing to this, but smoke was coming out of his head. Okay, you are way cuter now, Naruto said with a chuckle at the fact Ahsoka had just silenced HK. I have to agree with Lord Uzumaki's deathbot, unfortunately. It's only a droid, Anakin, Obi-Wan said seriously. You know attachment is not acceptable for a Jedi, Obi-Wan pointed out. In most cases, Obi-Wan said, looking at Na. Yeah, tell that to Satine, Naruto grumbled under his breath, knowing that from his mother, due to her close friendship with Obi-Wan's old master Qui-Gon Jinn. It's not just that, master. How do I put this, Anakin started to say a bit nervously. I didn't wipe R2's memory, Anakin said. What? He's still programmed with our tactics and base locations? Obi-Wan asked in shock. Does this mean we can blow him up? HK asked curiously, finally snapping out of his brain overheating. No. Anakin yelled at the murder-crazed droid. If the separatists get a hold of him, Obi-Wan said, harrowed at the thought. Okay, new mission, we find R2 and bring him back. In one piece preferably, Naruto said aloud. Mainly to HK. HK grumbled at this as he put away his blaster. You are like a child, Ahsoka said flatly to the murder-happy killbot. Oh, am I? Fine. Master and his side piece. I want a juice box. HK yelled at Naruto as he stomped his foot on the ground. Naruto and Ahsoka looked at HK with flat looks at this, both clearly not amused with his smart remark at their expense. Anakin, what possessed you not to erase that droid's memory? Obi-Wan asked, getting the subject back on track. Master Obi-Wan, sometimes R2 having that extra information has come in handy. Ahsoka said in defense of her master's reasoning. I'll agree with that. It's why I don't memory wipe HK here, Naruto said as he gestured to his droid. Every mission lets me add new ways to slaughter meatbags. HK chirped out happily. You're not helping your case, Obi-Wan said before he sighed. Find that droid, Anakin. Our necks may very well depend on it, Obi-Wan ordered. Right away, Master, Anakin said as the hologram ended. We should either prepare a shuttle or we can take my ship, Naruto said, knowing that they'd have to leave the fleet behind to search for R2. We'll take your ship, Anakin said firmly as he stood up. Okay, you can drive, Naruto said, knowing Anakin focused best while driving. Like hell he's driving, it's my ship. HK yelled. HK, you can company pilot with him. You know he can fly well, Naruto pointed out. Oh, I get it. This is so you can have some alone time with your tangerine side piece. Clever, master. Very sneaky, HK said with a salute at Naruto, making a clunking sound. Ahsoka sputtered at this and blushed a little before she composed herself as they all walked towards the ship. I'm gonna kill that droid, she grumbled out. Better meatbags than you have tried. HK yelled back at Ahsoka before laughing madly. Which resulted in Ahsoka having to be held back by Naruto so she didn't attack the mad droid with her lightsaber. Get the supplies ready, we'll head out within 3 hours, Anakin ordered. 2 hours later. As clones started to ready supplies onto the Golden Eagle under HK's watchful eye, Ahsoka stood by a gold and black astromech droid. Anakin approached her with a backpack ready to go. Snips? He asked. Yes, master, but look. They just delivered your replacement astromech droid, Ahsoka said, gesturing to the black and gold droid. This is R3S6. Ahsoka introduced the gold and black droid, who beeped in greeting. I've heard the new R3s are far faster in thinking skills and more powerful than the old R2 units, Ahsoka said with a smile. Ah. Give an astromech some extra power all you meatbags want, but they'll still never compare to the droid perfection you see before you, HK said, scoffing. And he's gold. A gold droid for the gold leader of Gold Squadron, Ahsoka said, ignoring HK. Okay, the meatbag is right on that. Gold on droids is superior to all others. After all, look at how shiny I am, HK said, gesturing to himself. There's a smudge on the back of your head, Naruto said flatly. Ah. Curse you, tangerine meatbag. You're hitting me with your saber, scuffed my glorious body. HK yelled out. But then I'm doing my job, Ahsoka said with a smirk at HK. Naruto chuckled at this, finding this really funny. I understand why I was given a replacement astromech, Snips. I get it. You just can't replace R2 though, Anakin said before walking onto the Golden Eagle, ignoring the new droid. Making the astromech beep sadly. Don't worry, Goldie. You'll get to know him later. Come on, Ahsoka said to the astromech droid as they boarded. I don't trust that new astromech, HK said to his master. You don't trust anything that doesn't lick your feet within seconds of meeting you, Naruto said as he and HK also boarded the ship. That is disgusting, master. Why would I want the tongues of meatbags to sully my glorious feet? HK asked, following after him. Asteroid field. Okay, we know R2 wasn't on my recovered fighter, so maybe he's somewhere in the asteroid field. Anakin said, activate the scanners, he said to HK. Don't tell me what to do on my own ship, meatbag, HK told him. HK, do it or I'm telling Talon. Ahsoka was able to stun you with her logic, Naruto said with an even tone, showing this wasn't a bluff. Scanning away, HK said, your droid isn't showing up on scanner, meatbag, but there is a ship in the vicinity, HK said, before the Golden Eagle flew forward towards the ship they picked up on scanners. That looks like a Trandoshan scavenger. Probably combing the battlefield for salvage, Anakin said, getting a good look at the ship. The archive texts say, Ahsoka was saying till Anakin cut her off. Archives and ancient texts can only teach you so much. You'll learn more through some hands-on experience. Anakin told her. There's a joke to be made, but I am not the red-skinned meatbag, HK said before they docked with the scavenger ship. But not before Ahsoka hit HK again with the hilt of her lightsaber. On the scavenger ship. Naruto, Anakin, Ahsoka, HK, and Goldie all rode up in a small lift into the scavenger ship. With Anakin, Ahsoka, and Naruto wearing ragged ponchos over their robes to not reveal they were Jedi immediately. Ugh. What's that smell? Ahsoka asked, nearly gagging at the smell coming from the inside of the scavenger ship. You'll get used to it, Anakin told his Padawan. Ugh, it's just like Nar Shaddaa all over again, Naruto said as the smell was pretty grotesque. And this is why we droids are superior. No need of smell or taste, HK said just as a long rod with an eye-like camera came out of the wall and started speaking in Huttese while looking at Anakin. Hey. We'd like to buy a droid. You selling? Anakin asked with a smile, playing up an act. The camera started to laugh as it pulled back into the wall before the door opened partway as a fat Trandoshan came through the hole while farting, making Ahsoka cringe in disgust. We're looking for an R2 unit. You happen to pick up any recently? Anakin asked. An R series? No, not for a long time, the Trandoshan answered. Hookums here really has her heart set on another R2, Anakin said, gesturing to Ahsoka. She lost the last one, Anakin answered. Hookums? Oh brother, Ahsoka rolled her eyes, grumbling. Oh, I'm so gonna use this later, HK said with a giddy tone of voice. Nice R3 unit. And a very rare model of HK unit. Care to trade them for 2 C-14 units? The Trandoshan asked with a smile. Not happening, Naruto answered as he was not selling HK period. Now let's see how much I have here, Anakin said, flashing a bunch of credits, getting the Trandoshan man to almost salivate. Tell you what. I may have an R2 unit buried somewhere in the hold. The Trandoshan said before beckoning the group to follow them. If he doesn't have him, can we have HK blast him? Ahsoka whispered as she held her nose. Just give me the word, tangerine meatbag. Your orders can only be denied by the master's orders due to your status as a concubine, HK said giddily at the prospect of blasting this meatbag. The Trandoshan led the group through a doorway. Here, have a look. But be careful, there are many unique items down here, the man said before he closed the door, hiding an evil smirk. Anakin walked forward, leading the crew past several crates as Ahsoka looked around. Seeing many torn apart droids. As if it were a graveyard of droids. What the funk is this? HK bellowed as he pulled out his blasters, blinded by his rage. HK, calm down. They're mostly protocol droids which you hate. Remember, Naruto said, trying to calm him down. I don't give a funk. Even they deserve better than this. I'm gonna vaporize that fat lizard shitston. HK yelled, clearly at his limit. He has ethics? Ahsoka asked surprised. This is new to me as well, Naruto admitted before Ahsoka stopped seeing two IG assassin units sitting on the floor. Decommissioned Master, Ahsoka said, getting Anakin's attention. These are probably the unique items we were warned about. These assassin droids can be very unpredictable, Anakin said as he kept his eyes on the droids. They're switched off, they don't look so tough to me, Ahsoka said. That's because you've met a true assassin droid, Naruto said, gesturing to HK. Damn straight, Master, HK said before they continued forward before coming to a door. R3, access the computer and find the inventory manifest, Anakin ordered his new astromech droid R2's, gotta be around here somewhere. R3 beeped an affirmation before he rolled towards the access terminal. As he linked up, a beep was heard from another area of the ship. Did you hear that? It sounded like R2, Anakin said, perking up before he started heading towards the sound. How can you tell the difference? Ahsoka asked curiously. When you've been with a droid long enough, a friend can tell, Naruto said, knowing that quite well. It came from down here, Anakin said, running to a door. R3, get this open, Anakin ordered. R3 beeped before suddenly the lights to the room turned on. We don't need the lights on. Anakin exclaimed. No, Goldie. The hatch, Ahsoka told the new astromech droid. Never mind, I'll do it myself, Anakin said, pulling out his lightsaber and started to cut the door. Suddenly, as R3 continued to try and hack the terminal, the IG assassin droids suddenly woke up and approached Ahsoka from behind. What the hell? Naruto shouted as he pulled out his lightsaber and kicked one of the assassin droids away from Ahsoka. Goldie, shut these droids down. Ahsoka ordered as the assassin droids removed the cables holding them down and reached for their blasters. Suddenly HK rushed forward and jabbed something into the assassin droids' necks. Security spikes? Ahsoka asked with confusion seeing this action. Oh no, Naruto groaned as he knew these were specially designed security spikes HK created himself. Able to get past droid firewalls in an instant so he could gain control over said droids. The two assassin droids stopped and put their blasters back on their backs before they suddenly took a knee before HK. I love these things, HK said in regards to the security spikes. Should we be concerned? Ahsoka asked Naruto. If anything, we should be more concerned with Stubby here, Anakin said looking at Goldie. He'd make a poor excuse for a light switch. Hey, I'm sure he did his best, Ahsoka said in defense of the new droid. His best to get us killed. R2 would have never made that mistake, Anakin said as he walked back over to the door. R3 can't even get the door open, Anakin said before R3 went back to the terminal and hacked it again. Opening the door Anakin tried to open earlier, a little late now, Stubby, Anakin said as the door opened, revealing the Trandoshan, who cowered in fear once he saw Anakin holding his activated lightsaber. If you didn't have a lightsaber, you'd be a dead man, the Trandoshan said. Where's my droid? Anakin demanded. Master, what are you doing? Ahsoka asked, walking towards her master before he could do something insane. Yay, that's not how you threaten a meatbag, HK said as he walked over and pointed his blaster at the Trandoshan's crotch, left, right, or shaft. Pick something for me to blast off unless you answer where the R2 unit is, meatbag, HK demanded. I would talk, he has an itchy trigger finger, Naruto said with a smirk. Master, R2 clearly isn't here, Ahsoka said since Anakin had heard a beep from this door but didn't see R2. I don't buy it, Ahsoka. I think he is hiding something. Naruto said looking at the Trandoshan. I sense much fear in you, Naruto said. He should be afraid cause the voices in my head say to shoot off a testicle and shove a thermal detonator in one of his openings and make him push the button himself. HK yelled as he took out said detonator and shoved it under the Trandoshan's chin for emphasis. It isn't worth dying to that general for. I have an R2 unit. The Trandoshan yelled, terrified. Where is he? Anakin demanded as he glared. And how the hell did you know we were coming? Naruto asked with a glare at the alien. I didn't know you were coming. I didn't know what you even were until the camera feed activated to show me what was happening with my IG units, the Trandoshan said. Camera feed? Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow at this. Yes, I haven't had the camera in here working for a while due to the sabotage of one of my ex-buyers. But all of a sudden after you showed up it started working again. As if someone activated it. On top of that, I ended up getting a message saying contact General Grievous after you leave, the Trandoshan said in a panic, keeping his eye on HK's detonator. Contact Grievous after we leave. Like you got a message from inside this ship. Naruto said, his eyes looking towards R3. That's ridiculous, who would? Ahsoka was saying before she thought about it, and everyone looked at Goldie, who was sitting nearby. Beep, the droid said nervously. Oh, you traitorous little rust bucket. Anakin growled out. Anakin, calm down and keep this piece of garbage here and make him show you to R2. Naruto said as he gestured to the Trandoshan. HK, teach your fellow droid what loyalty means, Naruto said with an edge in his tone as he glared at Goldie. "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this, you little sellout," HK said with glee as he approached the black and gold R3 unit with his blasters drawn. "Any last words?" HK asked. "Beep, beep," R3 said. "Oh, how dare you mention that cyborg bastard in my presence." HK yelled before letting loose about 20 blaster shots into the astromech droid, destroying him. "What did he say?" Ahsoka asked curiously as she was still learning droid. "He said that General Grievous will never lose to me because he is the pinnacle of technology." HK growled before walking over to the Trandoshan and grabbing him by his throat. "Now show us the R2 unit or I'll rip off your arms and shove them in your openings after beating you with the wet ends, meatbag," HK demanded. "Back. Okay. Okay." The Trandoshan squealed before clicking a remote, opening a nearby door and revealing R2 with a restraining bolt attached to him. "R2. Anakin said, happily seeing his friend again. "Now you let me go, right?" the Trandoshan asked. "Who said that?" "Not me," Naruto said with a cold tone as he nodded at HK before he walked Ahsoka out of the room. "Hum along, meatbag. We're gonna have a nice conversation on your bridge," HK said, cackling evilly as Anakin freed R2. "You have a mean streak," Anakin said to Naruto as they heard HK drag the screaming Trandoshan away. "That's something I got from my ancestor. I don't like doing things like that honestly, but unfortunately sometimes it must be done. Especially if he was working with Grievous. The last thing we want is Grievous repairing more droids from scrap to have infiltrate as spies," Naruto explained. "I guess I understand, but don't you think letting HK have his way with him is a little much?" Ahsoka asked as they left the shop. Before Naruto could answer, they all heard the Trandoshan screaming in pain. "And now the finishing touch," HK yelled before an explosion was heard. "Well, despite some programming tweaks, he's an assassin droid and killer. To deny him what he is would be a worse fate. One should never deny themselves what makes them unique. No matter what. For if we deny ourselves our unique tendencies, then we are nothing more than husks," Naruto said calmly. "You're just being sadistic cause he made you mad that he was selling to the enemy," Anakin said, not buying this from Naruto. "Not at all. Contrary to most of the Republic, I don't hate the Separatists. I don't like the war or the methods they use, but the Republic also has its faults. This started because of the Republic's policies and issues. Never forget that," Naruto said, firmly getting silence from Anakin. "You mentioned your ancestor earlier. This have something to do with your special situation as a Jedi Lord?" Ahsoka asked, wanting to change the subject. "Hey master and meatbags, you may want to see this," HK yelled from the bridge. "HK, none of us really want to see your handiwork," Naruto said as he shook his head while Ahsoka's face turned green from the implications. "No, not that. I found some recordings of this meatbag's conversations with that cyborg prick. I traced it back to a listening outpost on a moon of ruusan," HK informed. "Let's see what it is," Anakin said before walking into the bridge. "By the Force, there's so much blood," Anakin yelled out in horror. "Oh, quit being a biss. I have done worse to meatbags who have done less. This isn't even in the top 50," HK said. Ahsoka covered her mouth at this as she turned away from the door while Naruto rubbed her back to comfort her. End chapter. So this part ends here. If you want to see next part of this series, like the video now and share the story with your friends. Bye bye.